Listen, you're here because you want to compete. You want a stage, a division, a category that really allows you to highlight all the work that you've been doing both in the gym and out of it. But the thing is, not all divisions are created equally. Picking the wrong division could leave you frustrated if you don't really fit the criteria. Or you could be dieting too hard, or in reality, not hard enough. So let's get real about the differences between the fit model division and the bikini division. Now, to the average viewer, these two looks can look pretty similar. Yet when we get granular, when we look at the criteria and when we look at the upper end of the bikini division, we can see that there are very vast and very distinct differences in both divisions' criterias. Now, for the fit model division, I would actually think about it more so like a fitness magazine cover model. They want muscle and they want you tight and lean, but not too lean and not too muscled. So in terms of shape and muscularity for the fit model division, they are very direct that they want less muscle and less development than the current standard for bikini. And I really think that the term toned does encompass the overarching theme for the fit model division. Now for the glutes, they want them full, but they don't want them deep. Now what they don't want are boxed out glutes, super developed tie-ins, or overly separated muscle bellies in the lower body. So what about for the upper body? They do want development in your shoulders and your delts, but they don't want them capped off. Specifically, what they're referring to is that roundness in that cappage that we see in most bikini competitors, even at the amateur level. So what about for conditioning? They don't want extremes. They don't want separations. They don't want you to look super jacked. They want the stomach and the core to be tight and very toned, yes, but not overly developed, not overly cut, and certainly not dry. Think truly by definition lean, but not too lean. Now, what you could also do is look at the current standard for the top bikini competitors. This is too conditioned for the fit model division. The conditioning for fit model is a step softer. So what about the bikini division? Even at the amateur level, we're going to see a degree of muscular development that is really, really hard for the average person to attain. Not impossible, and even without PEDs, something that many can work towards and will likely be successful. But specifically for bikini, what they want to see is built out and developed glutes. So for bikini, objectively, there is a degree of muscularity that you need to have to be successful. That frankly, if you have it and you are competing in fit model, they might actually judge you down for this. Now in bikini, they do want, yes, balance from top to bottom. They don't want you too conditioned like some of the upper divisions, but really the key distinct features that they want to see are an hourglass shape, a very tiny waist, and pretty much fully visible tie-ins, not overly conditioned tie-ins, and they certainly don't want excessive detail. However, for a lot of people, in order to get this kind of depth and projection, it's going to mean spending a lot of time building out their glutes. So how do you decide whether or not you are better suited for the fit model division or the bikini division? I would almost picture it like a spectrum, so almost like a pH scale. If the fit model is 1 and bikini is 10, depending on where you fall and what your answer is to the following questions that I'm going to pose to you, that is going to help you decide whether or not you are better suited for fit model or bikini. Question number 1, how much muscle do you have and how much do you want to have? There's a lot of people who admire and even envy these professional bikini competitors' physiques when they're on stage. But oftentimes what they miss is that they might see them in person, they might see them walking around maybe not super shredded, and they don't realize that many of these girls are walking around in the 130s, some even in the 140s, some in the 150s. Now, I've had clients tell me that they love the bikini look. They love what these girls represent and what they bring to stage. Yet for them, they don't want to have that kind of density. They don't want to do a whole overhaul with their wardrobe. They still want to be able to fit into their designer apparel. Now, the other side of the coin is if you struggle building muscle, if this is not something that comes easy to you, it could take a very long time to achieve that density. And in the case that you're someone who wants to get on stage and wants to maintain that super tight, super lean look year round or close to that, this might be a deal breaker. Question number 2, how lean are you comfortable actually getting? Does it come easy to you? Is it something that requires just this focused attention and really you have to make a lot of sacrifices in order to shed even just 5 to 10 pounds? Dieting very much is a skill. And it's something that I think we all have the capacity to develop. Yet, I think when it comes to being a professional bikini competitor or professional bodybuilder, really in any division, there's a level of discomfort that just comes with the territory. And it's not for everyone. This is where I think doing a little bit of an audit and assessing how hard is it for you to actually lose weight? Is this something that really takes a toll on your mental well-being? And frankly, do you even like how you look when you're a little bit leaner? I've had so many girls tell me, they're like, yeah, I love when my abs start to show, but as soon as I hit this specific threshold on the scale, I really start to lose my curves. I start to feel less feminine, or frankly, I just can't function. I am not able to do the things that I'm required on a regular basis. Now, I think it's a good idea if you've never competed before to first make sure that you like getting on stage, that you like the process of contest prep, because yes, there's a lot of positives that come with it and it can be very exciting, but it does require a lot of sacrifices. And the leaner that you have to get, the more muscle that you have to have, it's going to require you being patient and really embracing the suck. Now, this is where I think the fit model division is a really great entry-level division for female athletes. It's still very lean, and it's still an impressive amount of work what these athletes have to do. But what I like about it is that it gives someone who is very interested in the sport and invested into their own fitness and well-being the opportunity to trial it out and see, is this something that they enjoy doing? Do they enjoy the process of getting on stage? Do they enjoy the process of getting as lean as they need to? And this all comes without necessarily having to commit to 6, 8, 9, even 12 months of contest prep, or in some cases, that same amount of time in just their first intentional growth phase. Question number 3, which level of dieting and training do you want to have to maintain? I see people within the bikini division be able to manage the diet, the training, the contest prep, and the post-show seemingly very easily. But on the other end of the spectrum, there are individuals who struggle so heavily being able to stay locked in, being able to transition out of that post-show phase back into a non-prep setting. For some people to just be adherent and maintain their training regimen, they're saying no to vacations. They're not able to travel as much. They're not able to go to social events. And for some people, this can really take a toll on their emotional well-being and their enjoyment of the sport. Now, this is really where almost like a sub-question comes in, where you have to ask yourself, how hard is it for you to maintain your current physique? And when you think back to your leanest or the best you've ever looked, is this a physique that took complete, focused attention, a complete overhaul of your life? What were the sacrifices that you made in order to achieve that? For some people, it is going to take full 100% commitment to do even the fit model division. Yet when we look at both divisions side by side, we can say objectively, to get leaner and to build more muscle, it's probably going to take even more to compete in the bikini division if your goal is to perform well. Now, if you struggle to hold a lean look, you struggle to sit at a moderately low body fat, it could be a good idea to start off in the fit model division and get a better sense of what kind of sacrifice it actually takes in order for you to compete and to do well here. Then again, if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you're like, hey, I love the bikini look, but it takes me so much to build muscle because naturally I just sit a little bit leaner, it could be in your best interest to consider the fit model relative to the muscularity requirements of bikini. Now, the fourth question is, what is your stance on PEDs? Are you open to the idea that in order to get to the top of your division, you might need to use PEDs once, if not several times? And let me just be clear. Competing in bikini does not mean that you're also signing up to use enhancements. But I'm going to be honest, there are a lot of amateur first-time competitors who are using so many PEDs at such irresponsible doses just to perform relatively well. And of course, I get the argument that's like, well, you shouldn't compare yourself and you shouldn't really look at how quickly someone else progresses. But to be honest, like being in the sport 10 years, it can really get to you seeing that with the use of PEDs, you can absolutely get to where you're trying to go a lot faster. And as much as there's this negative tone around like, well, you shouldn't need to use PEDs because it's still bikini, the reality is that the division has evolved into a look that many are deciding that it is worth the risk, and many are choosing to incorporate PEDs much sooner into their competitive career. Now, I've worked with a lot of athletes who are like, hey, I like these physiques, I support these girls, but realistically, I don't want to use PEDs at this point. I'm not ready to make that decision. And let me tell you, there is a lot that can be done naturally or very close to naturally. But if you're someone who's pretty set on wanting to do things 100% naturally, and largely you want to compete in a division where you can hope that there are less enhancements being used, then I would say that the fit model division is probably a better option. Now, another reason that I think the fit model division is a great opportunity for first-time competitors is there are specific constraints in what the competitors can wear on stage, how they have to pose, that actually work in your favor and hopefully will save you hundreds of dollars upon the contest prep process. What you'll find in the bikini division is that suits can get really pricey, even entry-level ones. If you're someone who's already kind of geeked out about the fact that this is a pretty expensive sport to compete in for your first show, then it could be worth leaning more towards the fit model division. Now, according to the rules and regulations, you cannot compete in both divisions at the same show. However, you are able to do one division at one show and then decide to do that other division at your next show. And I mean, realistically, what you could even do as a first-time competitor is go through your contest prep, and maybe around the point where things are starting to get a little bit rocky, if you and your coach agree, maybe enter into the fit model division, get feedback, hear what the judges have to say, because realistically they could look at your shape and they could be like, yeah, if you stop dieting now, this is perfect for the fit model division. However, you have a lot of muscularity, or you have enough to potentially do well in the bikini division if that's something you choose to do. Now, on the flip side, let's say you go into your first show and you really dial it in, and your feedback is you need more muscle, or, in some cases, you need to be leaner. If this is the case, then you and your coach can decide whether or not it makes sense to maybe pull back a little bit and compete in the fit model division at your next show. I think you really have to ask yourself which look resonates with you. Is there something about one look or the other that you find really appealing? How do you handle stress in dieting? Is it a big ask for you to lose 5, 10, even 15 pounds? Is it something that you and your coach have discussed is really a point that you can work on and continue to develop that skill of dieting? And really, once you get to that point, you can then decide, does competing in the bikini division actually make sense? Neither division is right or wrong. It's ultimately about what makes sense for you and what you can sustain. And really give yourself that honest evaluation. Where is your physique now? And what's the kind of physique that you want to maintain year-round? Answer that, and the decision choice might be a lot clearer than you actually think. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope this helps you make a more clear and informed decision about choosing either the fit model division or the bikini division. Whichever way you go, enjoy the process, own your decision, and bring your best to stage. As always, you guys, I will see you in the next one.